If you want a better looking and sounding exhaust system without breaking the bank for your 2014 and newer 6.4 liter Ram 2500, this Flowmaster FlowFX single side exit exhaust system with the black tip will be one that you'll want to check out. Now when it comes to the loudness meter right off the bat, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being Wake the Neighbors loud, giving this a good volume level for the daily driver. Now this system will offer a deeper tone to the 6.4 liter without a crazy amount of volume, which is going to be great for the Ram owner who wants to hear their exhaust for pure enjoyment, but doesn't want a system that's going to be overbearing on day-to-day drives or when cruising on the highway. Now, in addition to those sound benefits, this will also up the street appeal of your truck if you're tired of looking at your factory system or it's starting to show its age and you want to elevate the look. This will feature a similar design to factory with the single side exit configuration, but is going to take it up a notch, not only in sound but also in performance. Now thanks to the FlowFX straight through style performance muffler, this system will offer an increase in flow and decrease in restriction, and will have better efficiency, so you will be able to notice that in your throttle response and your MPG. Now again, this will also feature a 5-inch black tip on the back, which compared to the factory system will add more of that custom and even aggressive appearance to the rear side portion of the truck. When it comes to the construction, this will consist of a 3.5-inch mandrel bent 16-gauge 409 stainless steel tubing for, again, smooth and direct airflow, but also good rust resistance to prolong the lifespan of the system. Now the large tip on the back will also be stainless steel as far as the material is concerned, but it's going to be covered in a black ceramic coat which will resist those high exhaust temps and resist any cracking or bubbling over time. Now to make this system much better, this is going to be a direct bolt-on and comes with absolutely everything that you need to get this onto your truck, making it hassle-free and very straightforward. This exhaust will come in at roughly $675, making this more on the affordable side for a single side exit system. Now what I do like about this is the fact that this kit's not going to be over the top when it comes to sound, while still getting a deep tone that you're looking for, that you may be looking for. It's going to be made of stainless materials and have a ceramic finish compared to the average powder coat on the tip. And last but not least, it's going to offer that elevated look while keeping it minimal for a subtle but noticeable upgrade. Now those benefits on top of the ease of install compared to other more complicated systems makes it well worth the price in my opinion, especially if you're not looking to completely blow your budget on a catback for your Ram. Now install will be at 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, still taking you about an hour to get the job done with the right hand tools. Now at this point we can head over to the shop and check out the detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your Ram 2500 at home. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install you will need an impact, a ratchet, 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter if necessary, small extension, 10 and 15 millimeter sockets, hanger removal tool, a cutoff wheel, gloves, penetrating lubricant, and a pry bar. What's up guys, today we're going to be installing a new exhaust on our Ram, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a short video on how to uninstall your factory setup, and we'll see you when you get back.
Alright, so our first step is going to be to remove our old exhaust hangers. You can do that using a 15 millimeter socket and ratchet. However, ours are rusted out, so we're gonna have to cut them. All right, so we have our clamps soaked with some penetrating fluid, and then we can go ahead and start cutting. And I grabbed some gloves just because as we get deeper, you're gonna get some more sparks. Flies back, burns your hand a little bit. So you can keep cutting now. All right, and now we're broken through our clamp. We can move on to the next step. All right, so now we can move back to our next exhaust clamp and repeat that same process. Now, if that clamp's broken, we can move on to the last one. And then now we can come back to our third clamp. It's gonna be a U-clamp, and we can repeat that same process and cut there. And now we can move on to our next step. All right, so now that we have our clamps cut, we can go ahead and pry back on our exhaust hanger. So I'm gonna use a pry bar. Stick it right up in here. And we're just gonna pry on either side of the hanger. All right, so now that we have our hanger off, we can go ahead and pull out the back side of this exhaust. All right, so now that we have our exhaust hanger removed, we can go ahead and pull back this way, and we should be able to just snake this out over the axle. All right, so coming back towards the front of the car, we have these two exhaust hangers that we need to remove next, and then one in the back. All right, and now we can remove our back hanger and twist this exhaust out. There's actually one more hanger here at the back of the muffler. So we'll use our exhaust remover tool, get that off, and then we can pull the exhaust backwards.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that you've got your factory system off, we can go ahead and begin installing our new setup. And what we're going to do first is grab our penetrating lubricant again and spray a little bit inside our hanger isolators just to make it easier to get our hangers into them. Just makes things so much easier. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Put on both of these. So now that we have our isolators lubricated, we can go ahead and install our mid pipe, and we're going to grab our 3-inch clamp here and slide that over our slip joint first, just to make sure we don't forget it once it's put into place. And then we'll go ahead and guide our hanger into our isolator and get our slip joint onto our Y pipe here. So we are going to leave all of our clamps loose for now, just to allow for any adjustments along the way as we install the rest of our system. Then once we get everything in position, we'll come back and tighten everything down all at once. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with our link pipe here. Now, depending on your bed length and cab style, you're going to use either the small one like we have or the longer one that is also provided in your kit. So what we're going to do is grab another one of our 3.5-inch clamps, slide that over our slip joint, then go ahead and get that into position and get our hanger into our isolator. So now we can go ahead and install our muffler portion. And for that, we're again gonna grab one of our provided clamps, slide that over our slip joint on our inlet side. And we're gonna go ahead and get that onto our link pipe. So So now we're going to get ready to install our over axle section, and to do that we're going to grab our penetrating lubricant again, spray our 2 hanger isolators just to get them a little lubed up and easier to insert our hangers into them. Then we're going to slide our over axle section into our muffler here in the outlet side with another clamp. So now we can go ahead and get our tail section into place, and one more time we're going to grab our penetrating lubricant, spray our tail section isolator, get that lubed up, and then we're going to go ahead and put our tail section in place with our last provided clamp. So now we can go ahead and install our tip, and that's simply going to slide over onto our tail section here. Then it has a 10mm bolt and nut attached to it to tighten it down. So now we've got our tip set pretty flush with the outside edge of our bumper, and we made sure our slash cut is pretty much pointing straight up and down. Now this part is really up to you on how you want it to sit. It does have adjustment to where you can have it poking a little bit out, or you can have it sitting nice and flush, or even recessed a little bit if you want more of the subtle stealth look. So once we have that in place where we like it, we're going to go ahead and grab our 10mm socket and small extension on our ratchet and our 10mm wrench, and go ahead and snug down our tip, and then we can begin tightening down the rest of the system and use this as a reference point if anything is off and we need to make adjustments. Now you may find this bolt is a little stubborn with the paint on it and coating, so you may have to switch out to your impact, but same deal, 10mm extension and 10mm wrench. So now that we have everything in place, we can come back to our mid-pipe section and begin tightening down all of our clamps using our 15mm socket on our impact. So now we'll do our link pipe and our muffler inlet clamp. Now we can go ahead and do our muffler outlet side as well as our tail section to over axle clamp. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Flowmaster FlowFX single exhaust system with black tip and side exit for your 14 to current 6.4 liter Ram 2500. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.